And to discuss the presidential elections in Peru and the ongoing process to officially announce the winner, we now welcome Argentinian journalist Daniela Ramos, who spent the past month covering the process in Peru. Daniela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Daniela, the National Office of Electoral Processes finally finished counting the ballots after over a week on Tuesday. According to that count, Pedro Castillo won with a lead of some 44,000 votes over Keiko Fujimori. However, he still hasn't been declared the president-elect of Peru. Why is that?
Well, that's right. Pedro Castillo is the new president of Peru, but the country is still waiting for the electoral authorities to officially proclaim him. And that's because the electoral jury is still evaluating the nullity request presented, mainly by Keiko Fujimori, who is trying to suppress votes in the regions where Pedro Castillo obtained more votes, with accusations of irregularities in some of the signatures of the ballots. But most of these nullity petitions were filled out of time, because the last day to present this kind of reclaims were on Wednesday. And many of them have already been dismissed because there is a lack of evidence. And it is important to clarify that even with the revision of these petitions, the result cannot be reversed. So Keiko Fujimori's intention is to basically delay the proclamation of Pedro Castillo, not least. She's also facing a request for preventive jail for money laundering in previous occasions when she presented in her campaign in 2011, 2016. So if she's not the next president, she will probably face jail. So she's going for all, basically. And today, in the open auditions that are taking place, one of the members of the National Electoral Jury denounced that a lot of people is gathering outside his house, basically to put pressure on the decision that is taking place. So we are still waiting.
Daniela, as you say, Keiko Fujimori is continuing to cry fraud. She's continuing to pressure for the results to be annulled in her favor. Some are saying that there's already been a coup in Peru and that Castillo has somehow organized some sort of major fraud in order to win these elections. It's pretty absurd to say that someone like Castillo, his Free Peru party, could have masterminded such a huge nationwide act of fraud, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's quite absurd because, to begin with, the accusation of fraud at the polling station, as she called it, has no proof, basically, and that is not something that Pedro Castillo said or I said. It's also what the National Electoral Jury is saying, that there are no proofs, and also a big group of international observers who participated in the elections. So in a press conference recently, Keiko Fujimori said something about an international left responsible for this alleged fraud actions, but then again, there is no evidence. There is no evidence. So everything indicates that she's just trying to delay the proclamation. That's what's happening here, basically.
Daniela, even if Pedro Castillo is declared the president-elect of Peru, he faces huge challenges. The country seems to be highly polarized according to these election results, and he doesn't have a majority in Congress. So can we really expect him to be able to fulfill his campaign pledges?
Well, he will certainly face a big challenge because the new government is taking office after a tight election, with a strong opposition in Lima, which is kind of the political showcase of the country, where it also concentrates a third of the total population. So yes, it will be difficult. And also the Congress is quite divided. Peru Libre will have a total of about, with his partners, it will have like 45 congresswomen out of 130, while the right wing will have all the rest. So, but we have to wait because maybe these categories, left, right, will be insufficient to to understand how the alliance will take place in the parliament. So we have to wait. But there is a lot of support from the people in Peru. So we will have to see how it translates, how this support translates in the next government.
Daniela Ramos, who's a journalist for ARG Media in Argentina, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for offering your insight into this very tight presidential race, where we will continue to have to pay attention to what's going on in Peru. Thank you.
Thank you.